Let us journey into the shadowed corners of the past, where history and legend often merge, to explore the perplexing story of a familiar nursery rhyme, whose true meaning has been hidden for centuries. The timeless and seemingly innocent verses of Mary, quite contrary, have been shared with countless children, bringing a sense of simple joy and wonder. Yet, behind its gentle exterior lies a tale that is as curious as it is unsettling, a story that winds its way through the worlds of war, politics, and conspiracy. Prepare to travel back through the annals of time, where a simple rhyme about a garden transforms into a mystery that unfolds over the ages, leaving us to wonder, was there more to this rhyme than just a whimsical verse? And what secrets might its puzzling origins hold? Welcome back, fellow travelers, into the shadows, to a place where we give new life to history, explore ghostly tales, and investigate everything that makes a strange sound in the night. If you have not yet joined our curious family, please consider subscribing so that you do not miss a single one of our chilling explorations. Nursery rhymes often contain more than what we see on the surface. Far from being simple children's entertainment, many were created during times when few people could read, serving as a secret way to remember important political events and scandalous stories. Mary, quite contrary, is a perfect example. Yet, among the many theories, the true identity of the mysterious Mary remains a puzzle. One of the most compelling ideas connects the rhyme's origins to the story of Mary, Queen of Scots. Mary's rule over Scotland, from 1542 to 1567, was defined by her unique status as a Catholic queen in a country that had become largely Protestant. Within the lines of this simple nursery rhyme, hidden layers of meaning begin to appear. The question, "How does your garden grow?" has been seen as a reference to her reign over the green landscapes of Scotland. The silver bells could symbolize the chimes of Catholic cathedrals, while the cockle shells might be a sarcastic jab at the decorations on a dress given to her by the French king, with her elaborate Catholic style becoming a source of scorn for Protestants. The line "pretty maids all in a row" is thought to be a quiet nod to her, for loyal ladies-in-waiting who were with her in the French court and when she returned to Scotland. However, an older version of the rhyme ends with a different, much darker line, "Sing cuckolds all a row." The word cuckold is an insult, suggesting a husband whose wife has been unfaithful. This line casts a scandalous shadow on Mary's romantic history, perhaps hinting at her reputation as a passionate and captivating woman. In the grand courts of France, Mary's life seemed set for a fairy tale ending when she married Francis II, the King of France. But their time together was cut short when Francis died just 2 years later, leaving her in a world of uncertainty. Upon returning to her home country of Scotland, Mary's life took another dramatic turn when she met the charming and intense Lord Darnley, Henry Stuart. Their relationship began like a wildfire, fueled by passion and a desire for power. But the flames between them soon cast doubtful shadows, revealing a turbulent partnership filled with struggles for control. While Mary was willing to rule Scotland alongside her husband, Darnley had greater ambitions. He expected Mary to give up her power to him and act as his subordinate. Within months, the intense affection they once shared had turned to deep resentment. Their love had soured into hatred, destroying the image of their once admired union. Lord Darnley, a young man driven by his own desires, was known for his heavy drinking and infidelity. His affections wandered to many lovers, including a captivating young man named David Rizzio. Yet, the story took another dramatic turn, as Rizzio, who had once been close to Lord Darnley, found himself falling for none other than Queen Mary herself. Rumors began to spread of a secret, passionate affair between the Queen and her charming secretary. The court was alive with speculation, and as Mary became pregnant with a future king, the whispers grew louder that Rizzio might be the child's true father. Jealousy took hold of Lord Darnley, setting the stage for a dark plot that would change the course of history. Together with his father, he created a scheme to get rid of Rizzio for good, a treacherous plan that he hoped would manipulate Mary into giving her crown to him. Under the cover of darkness, on the fateful night of March 9, 1566, a heavy tension filled the palace of Holyrood. The air was thick with a sense of impending doom as Lord Darnley's group of around 80 conspirators made their way through the palace halls, led by the foreboding figure of Lord Ruthven. They were headed for the Queen's supper chamber, where an unsuspecting Mary was enjoying the company of her friends, including Rizzio. As the large doors swung open, Lord Ruthven appeared, dressed in armor, his presence casting a dark shadow over the room. In a grim voice, Ruthven accused Rizzio of dishonoring the queen, setting the stage for a dramatic showdown. Mary, who was skilled in the art of diplomacy, tried to calm the situation. She told Ruthven to leave, arguing that any complaint against Rizzio should be judged by the Lords of Parliament. But her words were ignored, and Ruthven drew his dagger as the tension in the room boiled over. In a flash of anger, Mary stood up, her fury like a storm against the encroaching darkness. Rizzio hid behind her, a man caught in a plot that was far beyond his control. Mary's friends tried to protect their queen, struggling with Ruthven, but it was useless. In a chaotic scene of terror, Rizzio was dragged into the next room. Mary could only watch in horror, the cold metal of a pistol pressed against her, a stark reminder of her own vulnerability. In the adjoining room, a grim scene of vengeance played out. Rizzio, trapped by his attackers, was subjected to a brutal and relentless assault. Amid his chilling cries, a storm of blades pierced his body, an incredible 56 times. The scene unfolded like a horrific symphony, a tableau of violence that left no room for escape. And in the final terrible moment, Lord Darnley's own dagger, held by one of the assassins, delivered the fatal blow. The lifeless body of the once charming Rizzio was then stripped of his fine clothes and thrown down the palace stairs, a chilling testament to the depths of human greed and betrayal. Surprisingly, this chilling story does not end here. Just 1 year later, Lord Darnley himself met a mysterious and suspicious death that continues to puzzle historians to this day. In the cold, early hours of February 10, 1567, another chilling plot unfolded in Edinburgh. The old provost's house of Kirkhofield, which stood in the heart of the city, was concealing a tale of intrigue and unspeakable horror. Lord Darnley had been staying at Kirkhofield, weakened by an illness. He did not know that his sanctuary was slowly being turned into a death trap. An unseen enemy was orchestrating a sinister plan. As the clock struck 2 a.m., the silence of the night was shattered by a massive explosion that shook the city of Edinburgh. Kirkhofield erupted in a fiery inferno, its walls turning to dust. Amid the chaos and the rubble, the lifeless body of Lord Darnley was found in a nearby garden, lying next to the body of his loyal groom. However, something was not right. Curiously, their bodies were strangely undamaged by the powerful explosion, which left behind a trail of questions and theories about their final moments. The historian Magnus Magnusson has recounted how Lord Darnley's body showed signs of strangulation, suggesting that he had died before the great explosion. What if a disturbance had woken Darnley, forcing him and his attendant to make a desperate attempt to escape before they were discovered by their enemies? A chair and a rope were also found in the garden near the men. Could these have been used in an attempt to escape from an upper floor window? Was the explosion that followed just a chaotic cover for their murders, a way to hide a more sinister act? Queen Mary mourned her husband for 40 days, yet whispers spread through the city's taverns and alleyways, suggesting that her grief was just a mask for a darker truth. Was she truly innocent, or was she responsible for her husband's suspicious death? In the maze of suspicion, the Earl of Bothwell emerged as a name that would forever be linked to the horrors of that night. A man of power and shadows, rumors swirled that he had provided the very gunpowder that caused the explosion, and a pair of shoes belonging to one of his supporters were found at the scene of the crime. Within days, posters appeared on the streets and leaflets were passed around Edinburgh. They boldly accused Mary, Queen of Scots, and James Hepburn, the 4th Earl of Bothwell, of having an illicit love affair and of being involved in the plot to murder Darnley. The stage shifted once more on the 24th of April, 1567. It is said that on a lonely road between Linlithgow Palace and Edinburgh, Bothwell and his army of 800 men confronted Mary herself. He spoke of danger, warning her that there was a plot against her in Edinburgh. With a sense of foreboding, he urged her to seek protection in his own castle, Dunbar, an offer that concealed his sinister intentions. As midnight fell, Mary walked into a trap. Within the walls of Dunbar Castle, a nightmarish experience awaited her. Bothwell, his intentions as dark as the night itself, took her captive. Allegations of coercion and a twisted power play colored the events of that night, all designed to lead Mary down a path from which she could not escape. The days that followed were a spectacle of manipulation and political maneuvering. Just as the ink on his divorce papers from his wife, Jean Gordon, was drying, he claimed Queen Mary as his own. Their marriage took place on the 15th of May, 1567. only 3 months after Lord Darnley's death. The true intentions and circumstances of these events have created a complicated web of intrigue that has divided historians for centuries. Was Mary truly an unfortunate victim, trapped in a patriarchal era and forced into a marriage with Bothwell against her will? Or do the shadows tell a different story, that of a shrewd and calculating woman who was willing to trade her second husband's life for a promise of a future marriage to Bothwell? While the historical fragments provide a canvas, they offer only hints of the complex picture that is painted upon it. Unraveling the truth requires a delicate balance of speculation and careful examination, a journey into the corridors of history that offers no single answer and no clear path. The stories of Mary's scandal-filled romantic life created a public sensation at the time, which makes it entirely plausible to think that the Mary, quite contrary, nursery rhyme is rooted in the captivating and tragic story of her life. The tale of Rizzio's murder, Lord Darnley's death, Queen Mary's fall into Bothwell's grasp, and the chilling echoes of those turbulent days continue to captivate and intrigue us, and to remind us that even within the most regal of halls, the shadows can hold secrets that defy the passage of time. However, there is another belief that the rhyme may be referring to a different Mary from the same era. Mary Tudor, who is known by the chilling nickname Bloody Mary, born from the union of Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon. Her life became a story of intrigue, betrayal, and a thirst for power. Mary sought to dismantle the Church of England and to restore the Catholic faith that had been cast aside. It was a gamble to reclaim her mother's legacy, a path that ultimately led to a reign that was drenched in terror. The rhyme speaks of her as being contrary, which could represent this paradox, capturing the dual nature of her rule, a queen who was seeking salvation while at the same time sowing the seeds of dread. The line, "How does your garden grow?" is a question that goes deeper than the surface. In one interpretation, it speaks of her desperate desire to have a child. At the age of 38, she married King Philip II of Spain, driven by an urgent need to secure an heir to the throne. As time went on, whispers began to spread about Mary's pregnancy, which were conveyed through private letters that detailed the growth of her belly and the sensation of her baby's movements. In the early days of May 1555, a rumor caught fire, news that the Queen had given birth. This prompted widespread celebrations in London and the surrounding areas, with bonfires and unrestrained joy. However, the reality shattered this illusion just days later, revealing the rumor to be false. Unyielding, Mary clung to the belief that her child's birth was imminent and issued a statement that God would not allow her child to be born until all the Protestant dissenters were punished, which began another round of executions. Yet, despite the fervor, the cries, and the whispers, the promised heir never came. Another interpretation sees the darkness running even deeper still, for the garden in the rhyme could just as easily refer to a graveyard, where each of Mary's executions would fertilize the earth with its dark harvest. The whispers of history suggest that the rest of the rhyme's cryptic imagery holds a key to her reign of terror. Silver bells could be a chilling metaphor for the torment that was inflicted upon her victims, invoking the image of thumbscrews. Cockle shells could be a sinister representation of a form of genital torture, and the pretty maids in a row could be referencing a grim procession that was leading to the ominous embrace of the maiden, an executioner's tool of choice. It is a macabre picture, with each line unraveling a dark truth that is hidden in the shadows of history. Though this theory is intriguing, it might be deemed unlikely, as Mary was known to favor burning Protestants at the stake for their execution, and there is little evidence to support the idea that her victims endured the specific torture devices that are mentioned in the rhyme. Mary Tudor, a woman who was entwined in the threads of power and pain, navigated a treacherous landscape where ambition and cruelty walked hand in hand. The rhyme's layers of meaning reflect the complexity of her legacy. A queen of paradoxes, a ruler of shadows, and a figure whose name has become synonymous with a reign of terror, forever etching her place in the history books. Which of these theories do you find the most convincing? Or perhaps you have your own ideas? We are eager to hear from you, so please leave us a comment. If you have enjoyed this glimpse into the origins of Mary, quite contrary, please give this video a like, and do not hesitate to share which nursery rhyme you would like us to explore next. Stay with us, because our adventure does not end here. We have more chilling tales, haunting histories, and strange practices to uncover in our future videos. Until then, keep venturing into the unknown, unearthing spine-chilling facts, and feeding your insatiable curiosity. We will see you again soon.